Today we'll be doing something unique. I actually have to change the color palette to normal Microsoft Paint because this is not mapping. This is me random doing weird things. Oh, big. So this is my idea style 466. Yeah, pretty weird thing. So let's begin. Firstly, I think you should have settler bias. For example, somewhere. Okay, this way. Okay, I'm just joking. So yeah, I'm not gonna be using tiles just because it's the one just due to how complicated tiles are, and just you're gonna use pass. So let's say this is the map you got. You see? Let's. I don't want to talk about the coast, grasslands, some plains, some mountains. And you have your cities. This is your city 1, your city 2, and now you want to settle a new city. You have this. You are in the city which we'll call Khan. You are currently producing a settler, or whatever I'll call it in this ranting series. Where should you move? Of course, I forgot about the rivers. Since this is your first city, now the idea is settler bias. For example, let's say this tile. This tile has a settler bias of -10. So this now settler bias will be depicted in these numbers. So bias will this, for example, this has -10 because it has 1 production and 1 food and 1 science. Now here's the idea. So you have this tile. This tile has a lot of food near that. 5 food and 1 production. Now the initial settler bias will be here, but over time, over continuation of turns, the settler bias would move into more production rich areas, such as this having 3 production and this and 2 food. Okay, not 2 food. 4 production and 2 food. So it will automatically bias will automatically move to higher yields. Not just total, but but its bias will be towards food, then production. No, I'm sorry. Its bias would be to food, then production, and then the other things. So yeah, this is the idea. But over time, they're going to move into one. Their idea will move into more pro an area with better yields. This bias But what happens if you don't settle in your bias? Firstly, let's say you made a settler, okay? So say you move the settler here. Settle here. This area isn't in the settler bias. Firstly, settler bias gives you gives plus 10%. Okay, this is not a game I'm making. This is just ideas for a civilization game. I mean Civ 6, Civ 8 probably. This is more of an idea, but yes, though you got 10. I think you should get some kind of bonus like pop growth, production of food, maybe even culture or even happiness. If I if and later I'll say that should be in this pitch. Now settler bias is pretty fun as it already as there is the recommendation cities thing in Civ already, but settler bias actually gives you bonuses for settling in areas where the population wants. Plus, this is what the population wants, not the game. Not what the game wants. For example, maybe the game thinks this is better settled. Okay, I not mountains. That might be a problem. This is a better. I'm sorry. This is a better settled, but the population thinks this is a better settled because the population is more interested in food and production, with other yields being secondary. At tertiary, I'm sorry, as production is secondary and food is number one. So, and the your settlers' most favorite tiles would be a large amount, x amount of food, x so by 2 amount of production, and which would let's say equal y by 2, which will equal the Georgian letter let's see. I mean, one time I was in math class and the entire class went, "Why don't we use Georgian Georgian letters?" And the teacher said, "Okay, let's use it." And so you get the so all will be the statutory yield. The number one will always be food and production, and that will explain settler bias. Now now of course 10 is most likely for the maximum, as if it has plus 1 settler bias you gain 1, 2, you get a point. But I don't have a background in programming actually. I just really like designing kind of historical based games. I also play a lot of civilization games, and I'm interested in this pitch. I'm doing this more as a fun thing, but yes, still. With this, I'm already finished settler bias. But why do I have to account in this game? I'm sorry, MS Paint. Why do you need an account in MS Paint? Speaking of that, of the map, as you can see, there are 2 cities. I mean, this is a very simplistic thing. If you most likely have 2 cities in most simple games, you're going to have either an improvement. Since I was explaining the settler idea, so let's give you people a new pitch. The new pitch will be this. This is an idea that I more or less is more about religion. And now I will talk about culture, which I think is a great idea. Yes, CPU is getting pretty high. So first, let's start with this. Let's do another map with for now we'll just use grasslands and water for simplicity's sake. And let's say you have two cities. This is city number 1, city number 2, city number 3, okay, not two city more. Number 4, city number 5, city number 6, city number 7, city number 8, and city number 9. Now this is a very expensive empire, and this is most likely not how it's gonna the pitch I'm gonna make, but in the speech idea, but still, let's just do it. Firstly, I think you should be able to click on the city as in every Civ game, and then you could see the culture. I'm going to use this blank area as the culture thing. The culture thing will be basically this. You'll see your little cities things, and after that you'll see your cities. Your cities is culture, which shows you what people are there. For example, let's say this is Nubia plus, because this feels like Nubia color. So let's say the cities is 32% Alodian, and we have this. After that, we have 12% of the population is Mayan, 13% is 13% is Mongolic. I'm sorry, Cantonese. Subculture of Han. And let's say this city has only 4 cultures. So if we added that, yeah, this is 58%. So for and 42% is of course Nubian. So as you can see, I also want majority and minority system. For example, a larger minority will allow for its status, for its cultural buildings. I will explore that later since I haven't think about the idea. So any cultural buildings there. But they won't allow any science buildings. And also they will increase instability, especially if they are over 50%. Now, of course, subcultures are accepted. Other cultures can be accepted, but you have to count in only also the subcultures, because they're pretty expensive. So you have 3 options for these cultures. Okay, this will be assimilate, the This will be assimilate, accept, promote, accept or promote. If it's accepted, then you can promote it then. And of course, okay, the third one is bad, so let's just don't do the third one. And with that, I'll end the episode.